Right, so who are you and what's your connection to Mama Coco's?
My name is Jim Testa, and I am the editor of Jersey Beat and JerseyBeat.com, and a freelance writer, and a big music fan.
And what's your connection to Mama Coco's?
So the way I discovered Mama Coco's was I met Oliver when he was a sort of obnoxious teenager in a band called Hysterics. But he was so talented that I kept my eye on him. And then his name started popping up on the internet in connection with this thing that I wasn't quite sure what it was. And then I went to a show, and I saw this band called The Great American Novel, and lo and behold, Oliver was there. We became reacquainted, and I instantly realized what he was trying to accomplish, and threw myself into that effort as much as I could.
So, what, in your opinion, what is the MCFK community? What does it mean to you?
So, in the 30 years or so that I've been writing about and chasing popular music in this area, I've really only experienced 3 or 4 things that I would actually call, quote unquote, a scene. One, the early days of Maxwell's at Hoboken. 2, the early days of ABC No Rio in the early 90s. A little bit of New Brunswick in the late 90s. And then when I came upon Mama Coco's, and what it is an organization, or not an organization, it's a collective of individuals with similar interests and passions who have decided to put aside ego and careerism to work together. And the bonds are not simply monetary or professional, but personal, and that's a great thing. Because when you go to Mama Coco's show, you know you will not only see good bands, but you get to hang out with your friends, and that's fairly rare in New York City. You're pretty much usually surrounded, unless you go with a gang of friends, you're surrounded by strangers who, by and large, are into their own little worlds and don't really want to socialize as much as they want to experience what's going on.
So, say we get some funding for the first time. What could we do with it? What could be achieved?
So Mama Coco's actually had some funding. One of the things I think we've learned is that the late 20th and the early 21st century is the era of the entrepreneur. If you look at anything exciting and important that's happened, it pretty much started with a couple of bright people in a garage. Google and Facebook and Twitter, all those things. So Mama Coco's could solidify itself as a recording studio. It could maybe start functioning as a record label. It could become a promotions company. It could do all sorts of things. But what the idea would be you would not just go to Mama Coco's to record your record, you would go to Mama Coco's to become part of this community, and it'd almost be like joining a cult. But in a good way. But in a good way.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Hail Satan.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to add?
I have become really, really fond of all the people at Mama Coco's and what they're all trying to do, and it's just, when there's a Mama Coco showcase, I always look forward to it. And I know when there's a new record coming out, it's going to be something that'll be interesting and surprising and talented. And I think the future is as bright as we want it to be. And that's hopefully very bright indeed.